Hey everybody, Cole here. Today we're going to look to quickly compare the MOW wireless versus the Razer Viper Ultimate. This is more so my personal experience with my hand shape and grip preferences and which one kind of worked out better for me. And from there you can, take my hand size and make your own conclusion based off of my own comparison. So let's get right into it. My hand size to start is 18 long by 10.5 wide to the first thumb knuckle. First, we're going to start off with the Razer Viper Ultimate, but I just want to say that the wireless sensor on both of these are pretty much flawless. I'm going to put something on screen of all the screenshots that I took while doing some mouse graphs of them. The Xenix Titan GX Air wireless that I got and made a video on earlier kept dipping down and clocking down to 500 Hertz. It's said that the PCBs of wireless mice tend to do that. On either of these mice, no matter what I did, they were pretty much flawlessly 1000 Hertz, which was very impressive and definitely a step up. Now, does that make you a better aimer though? I have no idea. I just take note of what I see, and I figured it's worth sharing to you guys. Now into the Razer Viper Ultimate. The weight is 74 grams. It's a nice weight, and you can feel it in the hands, but it doesn't affect me in game personally. Only on larger swipes, maybe with my low sense, have I ever felt even the smallest bit of strain. For the most part, the weight seems to help my micro adjustments a tiny bit and flicks slightly. Doesn't seem to help my tracking. If anything, it hurts it very slightly when having to sharply turn left and right on a dime, and I find myself taking the tiniest bit longer to get the mouse going in the opposite direction. When someone's doing ADA spam or something, or strafe spamming. This was pretty much only in Apex I noticed it, because people turn so sharply. It's no reason to not get this mouse though. Next is the weight distribution. It was pretty much right on the very top. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus. There we go. It was pretty much right on the top of the ring skates. Hello, camera? There you go. Wow, that's dusty. Yuck. That seems to be about where the weight was. It's a little bit top heavy. You can kind of do the desk test. Alright, any further and it would fall off. Might be a little higher than I expected, but yeah. The scroll wheel and side buttons, not very pronounced on the side buttons, but they have a great click and some minimal post travel. The scroll wheel has a rubbery feeling, snap, and feedback to it. It's very nice, and you won't be accidentally scrolling with it like in game or anything like that. The cable that comes with it, you could play with it plugged in. It's very thick for no good reason. It's kind of light and really stiff. Weird. Don't use it. The mouse feet on the Razer Viper Ultimate, they're a little scratchy for the first 3-ish days, but they softened out and they're actually pretty fast. I had no real reason to upgrade a third party, but if you get it and really like the shape, then sure, some core pads or something would be slightly better. And lastly, kind of comments about the shape in comparison to the MOW wireless. The side grip is only 0.04 centimeters smaller than the hump above it, making the groove slope much less aggressive and gives me personally less grip confidence when I'm using it. And I'll get into that later, but that's something to take note. The top of the bottom hump makes you want to grab pretty much right where the sensor is with your fingertips, so pretty good there. And lastly, the software. It's very customizable, but it's also Razer Synapse, so yikers, man. Okay, moving on to the MOW wireless. The weight is 68 grams, and the weight distribution is almost exactly in the middle. Okay, any further and it would fall off of my desk. The scroll wheel is pretty soft, mushy, unsatisfying, and less detectable in game than the Razer Viper Ultimate. It's compared to my MOW Minus, I guess a little better. It still has that rubbery tactile feel. It's just way less than the Razer Viper Ultimate. I don't really prefer it, and the Razer Viper Ultimate definitely takes the cake there. The side buttons have very slight post travel on them, but have a nice click to both of them. They're pretty tactile, pretty good side buttons. I know some people complain that the side buttons on mice like these are too thin. I agree, using the S2 and stuff like that. I mean, those are just goated side buttons. You can just roll your thumb slightly upwards and you're pressing it. But moving on though. So the shape in comparison to the Razer Viper Ultimate, the side grip is 0.12 centimeters smaller than the hump above it, making your fingertips feel like they're locked into place. I love this personally, though I've heard expressed many times that one would prefer flatter sides for more grip style to work on a particular shape, depending on where your fingertips may want to naturally land. The curves on the side have a harsher downward slope. This is so blown out. I apologize in advance. I had to like keep my hand here so that way you can even see it. Where was I? The curves on the side have a harsher downward slope because of that versus the Razer Viper Ultimate. And I'll get into my personal comments of how that differs. The software, pretty alright, very easy to use, lightweight. You can just close it and it will actually close. I wish you could control only the scroll wheels LED, like I'd leave that one on, but you know, it's either all or nothing with this. And I wish it could also show the battery life. I know other reviewers have commented on that because you know, you just don't know when it's dying until it's gonna die. So lastly, my personal comparison. Soul searching for mice is something I started back when I played Rainbow Six seriously back in 2018, 3 years later, and I'm still finding out new things about my own personal preferences. Searching for the ultimate comfortable mouse for my own self probably doesn't exist, but time has proven that I tend to find the most long-term comfort and performance out of an FK base shape or smaller. FK3 win. For most people, more consumers with bigger hands will like the Razer Viper Ultimate on average than the Model Wireless. You need to ask yourself if you'd like the hump slightly more towards the palm or knuckles like on the Model Wireless, and if you'd like more curved and thinner sides like the Model Wireless has. These are the biggest differences I found between the two. Of course, price always goes into that as a factor, but for me personally, the Model Wireless comes on top, although I still believe I prefer the smaller Model Minus. The reason it beats the Razer Viper Ultimate for me, despite its better build quality and feel, is a couple different personal preferences. This doesn't mean it won't be any worse or better for you though, and it low-key could be goated for your own personal preferences. But I'll say them now so you can compare your own hand size and grip style to mine to better decide which purchase would be better for you based off of your preferences. Number 1, I prefer the smaller grip width on the Model Wireless. The first thing I noticed while picking up the Razer Viper Ultimate for the first time is how wide it is in the grip, at least coming from my Model Minus. While aiming, I kept noticing how much distance is in between my thumb to my fourth finger. This made me realize this is probably how I more accurately keep track of where the sensor is while aiming, and on top of that, it just felt more uncomfortable as I bend my fingers pretty aggressively on the right side. Also, the comfort grooves from the top hump being in the middle and wider than the rest of the sides, unlike the Razer Viper Ultimate, sets my fingertips on the sides into a little pocket. Let's see if I can get my camera to freaking help me out here. I love this personally, and it makes me wonder how my comfort would be while aiming with the Endgame XM1. Now, when I say little pocket for my fingertips, what I'm mostly referring to is the bottom hump here, like towards the bottom of the mouse. That, in conjunction with the top of the hump, leaves right about here on the mouse to be the absolute thinnest, which is exactly where my pinky or fourth finger tends to lay. Any lower and I'm hitting the bottom hump. Any higher and it won't even let me go. So my fingers tend to stay in this one spot, which I like very much. You know, your preference may be different though. The number 3 reason, the bottom hump might be slightly too wide for me on the Razer Viper Ultimate, so that hump I was just talking about. I would often feel excess pressure on a point towards the right side of my palm below the pinky that the back hump would hit because it's so wide. Something like the Model Minus lets my pinky knuckle hang or wrap around it on the right side of the back hump, and the Model Wireless lets my pinky knuckle rest on top of it without digging into it. So kind of a conclusion for buyers right now in 2021, get the Razer Viper Ultimate if it's on sale. If you find it for cheap on an electronic resale website, or it goes on sale for 80 bucks like it always goes on Amazon, you can enjoy a great build quality and premium finish it gives over the Model Wireless. If it's too big for your hand, or you already have a small hand, you're probably just going to like the Model Wireless more, and the Razer Viper Ultimate is not really a small shape, and neither is the Model Wireless. At that point, you might want to look into the Razer Viper Mini, the Model Minus, or something like the Finalite Ultralight 2. But thank you guys. I just wanted to make the review really quick because it's in my possession. I'm gonna return probably both of them. I don't know. It's kind of confirmed in my mind that I don't really like larger mice, but it was a blast using these wireless mice. All right, I might put a little bit of gameplay on screen, maybe not. Thanks for stopping by. Also, I don't know if you've seen this beauty on my desk, the Ducky Feather Black and White Edition. Ooh, let me tell you, this is the first hour of using it. I'm getting FK2 flashbacks, of course, it's the same shape. Oh my gosh, I love it so much so far, but we'll see where it goes. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.
Retired. 3 out! forward.